All right, hi again. Welcome back, Attorney Steve Vondran. We are talking in this video about how to build your YouTube channel legally. And this talks about my top 10 tips for fair use. Okay, so everybody's talking about fair use. Some people go, oh my God, this is so complicated. Other people say, you know, it's really not that tough. All you got to do is kind of think these through in your mind and you'll figure it out here. So Attorney Steve's going to give you his top 10 tips to try to keep it legal online in building your YouTube channel. So let's head on down. This is a blog I just wrote here. You can find it here at, I think it's on fairuse.tv at any rate. So we're talking here about how to do it. I'm not going to go over, well, actually, let's do it real quick, okay? I don't like to get into the big, long things, but whenever you're looking at a piece of content or work that you're creating, you want to ask yourself, is this a fair use? The quick and easy statement to make is fair use is 4 steps. 4 steps, 4 factors, if you will, that courts will look at. If you end up in a lawsuit, if somebody says, I'm going to sue you, and you say, go ahead, it's a fair use, I don't care, and you're fighting about a video that's on YouTube, for example, these are the 4 factors the courts are going to look at. 1, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this, I'm actually going to do another video, but 1 is what is the character of the use. Let's get down here. Where do we have it here? Fair use factors. Here we go. Let's blow that up a little. 1, what is the purpose and character of the use, and whether such use is commercial or nonprofit, nonprofit educational, so forth and so on. So the purpose and character of the use. Now this is kind of where we're talking about transformative. You always want your videos to be transformative, creating something new out of your videos, not just using somebody's photos or sound clips just because they're nice and easy to get. You want to be creating something new. So that's one factor the courts are going to look at. Did that happen? Number 2, the nature of the copyrighted work. Certain works like art and really things that are really creative, music, they're going to get a higher level of protection, you know, fictional books, things like that, things that really used a lot of imagination, while things on the other end of the spectrum, like factual things, you know, databases, the nature of the copyrighted work, not so creative. So, you know, there's a factor that could be weighed, that's all, okay? Number 3, the amount of the work that's used, and that's like, you know, did you steal the whole video? Did you use a whole photo, pieces of a photo? Is it a big clip from a book? What is it? You know, so what extent are you using? When you're in fair use laws, we'll talk about you want to use as little as possible, just enough to make your point. So that's factor 3. And factor 4 right here, that is the effect. Let's just do that right here. Let's get number 4 here.
The effect of the use upon the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work.
Okay, so this really asks a simple question. Are you going to cut into the copyright holder's marketplace? If you're going to cut into their marketplace, your work's kind of a substitute for theirs. You're not really hitting the fair use. All right, so let's go down. That's the 4-factor test. Whenever you're using a piece of content, you should run yourself through these 4 factors. Ask yourself, what's their kind of work? What's my work going to be? How much do I need to make my point? Am I going to affect their market? You might also want to look them up on Pacer, the online Pacer system, to see, do they file lawsuits? Maybe they're just a litigious bunch. You're going to use a music clip from a certain company, and they may say, you know, we don't let people do that. We like to fight that. So things that you could find out in advance, you could always go seek a license. You know, that's a lot more work. But, you know, let's face it, having a license in hand is the best way to go about things. But anyway, let's go to Attorney Steve's top 10 tips to avoid online copyright infringement claims on YouTube. Number 1, in your productions, try to use as much of your original work as possible, perhaps 70–80% of the video being your original content. So, and again, there's no hard and fast rules. These are just general concepts. But to me, most of the video should be of the stuff that you're creating, like the things that I'm creating. Okay, so use mostly your work. This shows that it is you that is trying to create something new. I guess I got a spelling error there, and not just borrowing everything, okay? Number 2, if you are using movie sound effects or music clips, keep it really short, like de minimis. There is a case law from the Ninth Circuit. It's the Madonna case. And there was a case that says if you're using de minimis and unrecognizable portions, that could be a fair use, okay? So it's, like I said, really tough in the music industry to keep that short and using music clips, but keep it short. That's going to be, as I put, not more than 1 to 5 seconds. Some people say 1 to 3 seconds. Keep it short. Just use what you actually need to make your point, okay? Tip number 3, use multiple sources. Mix it up, so to speak. Don't just focus on using the digital content from one company, as they may get tired of seeing this happen and want to do something about it. So mix it up. Use a clip here, a quote here, a little video here. Mix up your sources. Tip number 3. Number 4, always provide credit where you can. Now, if your work is a fair use, in theory, you do not need permission. Fair use is a right. It's not a nice to have. It's a legal right. It's built into the copyright laws. So, and just for those of you who don't know, it's basically designed to strike the balance between the First Amendment and copyright protections. We don't want to live in a world where we see copyrighted things all around us, like this map, but we can't use it for some reason because it's copyrighted, and that would really stifle free speech. So, however, provide the credits when you can. If you're doing YouTube videos, at the end of your video, you can put a little scrolling thing of credits, just like you see on TV. And at the movies, you can put on there, thanks to, we've used the following pieces in our final work. We thank the people that, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. So provide credit and attribution where you can. This avoids the claim also that you are trying to pass off their work as your own. So you don't want to get into that, okay? Number 4. Number 5, go through a fair use analysis as to each piece of content that you're using. And as I say, this may become tedious for some of those that use all kinds of clips, use hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clips in a video. But you should at least be thinking about it. Am I transforming this clip? Am I making a parody out of this clip? Am I commenting or criticizing the clip? Those are some things that are really important and have strong fair use protections if you're doing that, okay? Educational videos also very strong protections, okay? So that's 5. Go through, document your reasons. One big way I look at this is reasons, okay? So if you end up in court on this, you want to at least be able to show, look, I ran through the fair use analysis. I really thought it was a fair use. It was not in bad faith. Here's my reasoning. Somebody may question your reasoning. Somebody may say, well, you weren't commenting or criticizing or transforming the photo. I just completely disagree. At least you have documented your work, and that may lean, if you end up in court, it may lean toward a finding of innocent infringement versus willful infringement. Willful infringement can have penalties as high as $150,000 per infringed work. Whereas innocent, I've seen case law that says it could be $200. So this is a way to protect and insulate yourself from, losing the farm, so to speak, because you violated somebody's copyrights. That's number 5. I have some links to the videos there if you want to know more about it, innocent infringement or willful infringement. Tip number 6, comment and criticism are 2 really common fair use types. These are strong, written right into the statute. Purposes such as comment, criticism, research, scholarly education, those kinds of things. They're written right into the statute. So if your videos, if you're doing that, just tell people, hey, this is a video commenting on this. I'm criticizing that. Make it clear what you're doing, and making sure that when you're using the copyrighted content that you're actually criticizing it or making comments on the social state of things or the nature of culture, okay? So again, comment and criticism involve making a point, trying to make an argument, trying to illustrate a point, or criticizing, those kinds of things, okay? So strong protections for that. 7, if you have a really big project and you don't want to you may want to have insurance. You may need insurance to go out and distribute your film. If you're using something like that, you may want to go get a formal fair use opinion letter from a copyright lawyer. Okay, so that's another idea. You may need a formal opinion in some cases. Number 8, and also the formal opinion would probably help keep you safe one way or the other. 8, this is called using a fair use disclaimer. You may see on a lot of channels, they use a fair use disclaimer right up there when the video starts, and I have a sample of one if you want to see mine. There's a nice sample here that you can go get. It's online, and I talk more about the use of a fair use disclaimer, but you can put this at the start of your videos. You're basically putting the world on notice that, look, I'm not trying to cheat anyone, steal anything. I'm considering the pieces in here to be a fair use. I consider the work as a whole to be a fair use. And you're just letting them know, think about it before you send me a DMCA takedown notice, because there is some case law out there, especially in my jurisdiction out in the Ninth Circuit, that says you need to consider the DMCA, you need to consider fair use before you send out a DMCA takedown letter. So if you're not doing that, you're not following the law, okay? So a fair use disclaimer can help put people on notice as to what's going on. Number 9, parody. Remember that parody is a right. It's built into the law, and the concept is to promote the progress of science and the useful arts. So that's why we have fair use, to promote the progress of science and the useful arts. And so many things in culture build off other things. I mean, we're kind of a, standing on the shoulders of giants kind of nation. We're all sort of taking what came before us and using this in new ways. So just remember, sometimes people say, oh, fair use, it's a defense. Yes, it can be a defense, but it's a right. Fair use, you have the right, the legal right, and it ties into the First Amendment. So that's, if you get nothing else out of this video, realize that, spread the word, tell everybody what's going on. And number 10, things that promote speech in a fair way may qualify. Again, just bear that in mind. Satire, parody, product reviews, response videos, even movie reviews. We've seen people doing movie reviews with short, tiny clips of the movies. We've seen people doing video games, showing the video games. When you're dealing with video games online and you're playing them and recording them, check with the video game website, because a lot of times they'll have some permissions on there. Well, you can shoot our video, you can shoot our game if you want, or please do it like this or like that. But you can check the websites just to feel a little bit more comfortable. Print out any pages that you find. Document any screenshots that support your use. That way you have it. If somebody comes calling or knocking, somebody wants to take down your YouTube channel after 10 years of work, it happens. So you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself and you have something there to protect yourself, okay? So that's it, but remember, being transformative is the key, transforming one work into another in a way the original was not intended to be used. Commenting, criticism, education, teaching, these kinds of things are going to end using only as much as you need to do, okay? So I sum it up here with the 4 T's. If you need a nice little tip to take you home here, and we'll shut this video down. Number 1, the 4 T's. Take only what you need. Little uses. Transform into something new. 3, thank the original artist or creator. That's your attribution. And 4, take time to document your reason. The 4 T's, brought to you by Attorney Steve, trying to keep you out of trouble and keeping it legal. So if you need some help with a copyright DMCA issue, takedown letters, YouTube counter notifications, those kinds of things, you know where to find us. AttorneySteve.com, the first name in legal services. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give me a like, or feel free to subscribe to our channel. Make comments down below, and I hope this has been helpful, okay? Fair use is not that tough. Just think it through. It's got to be fair, okay? Take care now.